So why not give a big hands to welcome the Muhammad Ali. So his whole career here, so you can enjoy his career. And after I put, what is yours? This one? Oh no, this one. This one? This one? Okay.
Thank you very much. It's good to be in Seoul again. I've visited 42 countries, and after the United States, Korea is the second most visited country. So this is my 6th time in South Korea. So it's good to, it's like a second home. So I work at Athabasca University, which is Canada's open university, is the sister university to KMOOC. And we have 40,000 students in 85 different countries. And also I'm a researcher in the Technology Enhanced Knowledge Research Institute, and my colleagues include George Siemens, Terry Anderson, Rory McGreal, John Drawn, Kinshuk, so we do research in ODL. So here's a brief outline of my presentation. I'm going to be give an overview of MOOC and mobile learning. Talk about how you can deliver MOOC on mobile technology, very, very important, especially in developing countries. Talk about a few examples of MOOCs that I was involved with, research needed, and kind of look into the future of MOOCs. I'm not very satisfied with the definition of MOOC, so I came up with my own definition. Course delivered free on the web with open enrollment available to anyone from anywhere, but I added the last phrase, and the learners decide on the outcome. I think that's missing in definition of MOOC because people talk about completion rate of MOOC, dropout rate of MOOC. It doesn't make sense anymore because a MOOC is like a free lecture. So most of you have given free lectures before. I just gave a free lecture in Doha, Qatar recently. So I was in Doha for a meeting, and they said, can you come and give a lecture on mobile learning? So there were about 75 people in the audience. And some people came to the lecture to meet me because I'm an expert in mobile learning. Some came because they were lonely, they want to interact with their peers. Some came because they want to learn more about mobile learning. So people attend MOOC for a variety of reasons. So I don't think it makes sense to talk about completion rate and dropout rate of MOOC. And I know a lot of senior officials are saying the dropout rate is very high. I don't think it makes sense for MOOC. So I list a few reasons why people register in MOOC. One of the main reasons, because of restrictions, they can't access the regular course, so they will actually take a MOOC. And a good example is people who live in remote locations. And also in some countries, females cannot go to school. So why not get them to access MOOC using technology, using tablets, smartphones from their homes, their own location. People take it to get credit for professional development. I mentioned interact with the experts, the instructors, interact with others around the world. People take it to learn about MOOC. Sir John Daniel is taking MOOC so he can learn about MOOC. A lot of researchers will take MOOC so that they conduct research. And most MOOCs are delivered by experts in their field, so people will take MOOC to get recent information. And yes, some people are lonely and they just want to interact with people. So there are many, many reasons why people take MOOC. So I don't think we can talk about dropout. And in my presentation in Doha, Qatar, some people came to the free lecture because there was free lunch. And they come for the free lunch. So many, many reasons why people take MOOC. So a MOOC is like a free lecture. We should think of this as a free lecture. In terms of mobile learning, I think it's a good combination of mobile technology and MOOC. And I think it's going to make a difference in education for all. So a quick definition that was developed by a committee, ISO committee that sets standards for mobile learning, is simply learning using ICT in mobile contexts. So the student, the learner is mobile, and they will actually access the learning materials using a mobile device. And I started research in mobile learning way back in 2004, and I came up with a definition which is still valid today: delivery of electronic materials using mobile technology so people can learn anywhere, anytime. And my good colleague from South Korea, Jin Sean, came up with a definition in 2008: learning using mobile and wireless computing technology in a way to promote learners' mobility and nomadicity in nature. So the actual learner is mobile, and they learn as they move around with the technology. So those are two simple, common definitions for mobile learning. My good colleague, Clark Quinn, came up with the 4 C's of mobile. And if educators are really creative, you can actually use the mobiles in the MOOC courses. So students can actually use the mobile to access content, so they can access the MOOC course using the mobile. And of course, the mobile technology is like a computer. They can use it to do simulation, they can use it to play games, etc. So they should be learning activities in the MOOC that get the students to interact with the content and complete activities, so there is higher level learning. And of course, we all know the mobile technology can actually capture information. So perhaps one of the learning activities is for the learners to go out and capture information and present it to the other students in the MOOC and to the professor. And of course, you can use the mobile technology so that students can communicate with each other and communicate with the instructor. So if you really think about it, if you're creative, you can actually use the mobile technology in different ways to involve the students and to promote high-level learning. So here are some benefits of using mobile technology to deliver MOOCs. Students can learn when they're alert. And if you think about it, in education today, when do we start classes in the morning? What time do we start classes? Sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, and the students are not alert. So they can actually use technology to access the MOOC anytime, anywhere. Reach learners in remote location. Learning is more learner-centered rather than teacher-centered. The students in the remote location that work in the office environment, the job environment, they can actually learn in context. So they can actually apply what they learn right away. Remove barriers to learning. And I developed some 21st century skills that are required for learners to function in the 21st century. And students who use emerging technologies to learn in MOOC, they actually develop some very important skills for the 21st century. And those include independent learner, so they can learn on their own. They are able to use technology, which is important for the workplace today. They do conduct research, which is also important, especially in the information explosion days. One of the issues today is how do you deliver hands-on training online using MOOC? And we need much more research in this area. A lot of countries now are looking to see how you can deliver online, hands-on training online using MOOC. And I think we need more research in that area. How do you do online demonstrations in MOOC? How do you have virtual environments so students can actually learn at a high level? And how can people who take MOOCs can do remote access of equipment? And one example of that is we have a space course in our university, and a student can be in South Korea, in Seoul, on a computer or a mobile device, and they can access the telescope in Athabasca, and they can manipulate to look at the sky, remote access of equipment. So we need to move beyond delivering theory using MOOC, and how can you use MOOC to develop and deliver hands-on training? I think we need much more research in that area. And of course, to design MOOC for mobile technology, you have to design so that it's high quality, because whatever you design for MOOC, it's public. Anyone will look at that course, experts in the field, etc. It has to be current, and it has to be high quality. And there are some figures out there about what does it cost to deliver a high-quality MOOC. And the number I see is about 150,000 US dollars to deliver a high-quality MOOC course. Should be designed in small chunks for mobile technology, so students can access a small chunk, complete the small chunk, and then move on to the next chunk. And another reason is because a lot of people who take MOOC are very busy people. They tend to work full time. So it's good to present small chunks of information. And we should make sure that if someone wants credit for a course, they have the opportunity to write an exam or complete an assignment to get credit. So I mentioned the cost to develop a good MOOC is about 150,000 US. So here's a list of some of the things that you have to assemble to prepare a good MOOC. You have to use a team approach because in most cases it's multimedia. It has video. You need a computer expert. You need to train or pay the instructor to deliver the MOOC. There has to be tutor support. And of course, because it involves technology, you need technology support. So organizations have to plan to assemble the appropriate team to prepare quality MOOCs and to deliver the MOOCs. So why do organizations get into MOOCs? What are the benefits for organizations? Many, many benefits, and these are some reasons why they're actually getting into MOOCs. Increase revenue. Because when students take the MOOC, they will decide to take other courses, they will enroll in other courses, and as a result, there is more tuition fee that the university organization gets. It attracts new students. So for example, if an organization delivers a MOOC in Asia, and the organization is based in the US, then some Asian students will get exposed to the university and they could register to take the entire program. A lot of organizations are delivering MOOC to sell the brand. So if KNOU, for example, deliver a MOOC around the world, the name KNOU will be known around the world. So it's a way of selling the brand. Research opportunities, a lot of organizations, a lot of researchers are looking at MOOC, participating in MOOC, delivering MOOC for research, improve access. And if a university organization deliver MOOC, then they're seen as being innovative. And they will get more funding and they will get more respect from other universities. So many, many benefits for organization to get involved in MOOC. So the first MOOC was delivered by George Siemens from Athabasca, who is now at Athabasca, and Stephen Downs. And there were 2,300 students enrolled and 25 paid tuition. I was involved in a MOOC with the Commonwealth of Learning and IIT from India, and there is a final report, just some information on that final report. Here's a screenshot for that MOOC. And in this screenshot, if you take a look, I call this a CMOOC because students were able to collaborate with each other. So there was a chat room. If you take a look on the left-hand side, there were forums. Students were able to take quizzes and tests to get certification, etc. And if you look at the resources, we had slides, and we actually had script, which is text of the slide, of the videos. So students in countries who did not have smartphone, they can actually just download the text and read the text. So you have to design for the least common denominator, very important. And this is just a list of all of the courses that were offered in the MOOC. Just quickly, some statistics. There were over 2,200 registrations from 116 countries. 63% were active. 333 students were able to receive certificate of competence. So students who complete the MOOC were given a certificate of completion, and students who passed the exam were actually given certificate of competency. So it's very important to certify students. MOOC in the Arab world is starting to implement MOOC. And Queen Rania from Jordan, she just started a foundation called IDRAC, and they're working with the major MOOC providers to deliver MOOC in the Arab region, in Arabic language. A recent MOOC in Saudi Arabia by RWAQ. Interesting, the courses offered, most of the courses that they offered were in science and technology and engineering, which is different from the North American model, where most of the courses were actually theory courses. And just quickly, number of sessions over 8 months were 920,000. There were about 353,000 users. And there were enrollment from 10 different countries. The most students came from Saudi Arabia, followed by Egypt and Morocco. And the MOOC was delivered in Arabic. Some students use mobile devices to access the MOOC, which is important because in some countries, all that they have are mobile devices. They don't have desktop computers. So about 26% actually use mobile technology to access the MOOC. Research needed. For those who are looking for a research topic, how to design MOOC for different cultures. How do you design the same MOOC for different cultures? Because you have many countries, people in many countries taking MOOC. How do you build interactivity so you have high-level learning in MOOC? What learning support is needed for MOOC? How do you design MOOC for different age group? Because when people take MOOC, they take MOOC for professional development, for certification. So you may have young people from university, you may have older people who are in their 50s and 60s. So how do you design for the different age group? How do you integrate different learning activities like problem-based learning, simulation, and games, hands-on, etc.? We need to look more analytics on MOOCs. And what's the role of MOOC in distance education, blended learning, and flipped classroom? How do we integrate MOOC into these different delivery modes? Future MOOC will be shorter in terms of course length. So rather than take a 36-hour course, the MOOC course will be very short, maybe 10, 12 hours. Need to build a case that MOOC and mobile are effective to convince decision makers. So we need more data on MOOCs to show the effectiveness. And don't talk about completion rate or dropout rate. Talk about how it benefits other segments of society. Must be delivered to develop the delivery on any technology. And we need to develop so that we can achieve education for all. So I think combination of mobile and MOOC, which is free, will actually help achieve education for all. And I think that's something UNESCO is trying to look at. And this is a quote from Nelson Mandela. I had a chance to deliver a speech at UNISA in South Africa. And he says, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. And with MOOC and mobile technology, you can reach everyone so that you can give them a basic education level so that we can change the world. So we have major responsibilities. We have to make sure we live up to the responsibilities. Thank you. You have time for questions?